Imagine being an entrepreneur on the verge of closing an $850 million deal, only to be publicly humiliated by a powerful family who questions your every move. What if, in one shocking moment, you decided to walk away from everything? This isn't just about money, it's about respect, power, and making a stand when everything is on the line. Stay tuned, because this story will blow your mind. It was a day that began like any other for Simone Davies, a black woman CEO who had spent years meticulously building her tech company into one of the fastest-growing firms in the industry. With hard work, determination, and innovation, she had created a thriving business that was on the brink of a major milestone, an $850 million deal that would catapult her company into the global spotlight and secure her place among the top players in the tech world. Everything had been carefully arranged, from the terms to the paperwork, and she was ready to meet with the Hawthorne family, known for their vast wealth and influence in the business world. The Hawthornes, a powerful billionaire family, were reputed for their successes but also for their apparent disregard for anyone outside their inner circle. Simone knew this meeting wouldn't just be about business, it would be a test of her ability to navigate the subtle biases that existed in the high-stakes world of finance. As she entered the meeting room, she was met with cold, judgmental stares from the Hawthorne family, particularly Richard Hawthorne, the patriarch who exuded arrogance. Despite her credentials, Simone instantly felt the weight of being scrutinized under a different lens, an outsider in their world. The meeting began, and soon the questions started, not about the deal, but about her ability to manage it. Richard demanded to see her ID multiple times, questioning her every move. It was clear that Simone, despite her accomplishments, wasn't being seen as an equal, but as a black woman challenging their expectations. The tension in the room escalated as Richard Hawthorne, with a dismissive smirk, began to openly mock Simone's credentials, scoffing at her accomplishments and questioning her company's future prospects. It was as if all the years of hard work, the late nights and the sacrifices she had made to build her company from the ground up, meant nothing in the eyes of the Hawthornes. Despite the undeniable success of her firm, which had secured contracts with major global players and revolutionized the tech industry, Richard treated her as though she were a mere fluke, someone who had lucked into the position of CEO rather than a woman who had earned her place with grit and determination. The moment that pushed Simone to her breaking point came when Richard, without any sense of shame, demanded that she prove her worth in a way no other CEO had ever been asked to. He insisted that she provide formal documentation of her educational background, not just a verbal confirmation, but actual papers to be presented to the entire board. This humiliating request wasn't made of any other business leaders at the table, and it felt like a direct attack on Simone's identity. Her intellect and her worth were being questioned solely because of her race and gender. As her blood began to boil, Simone realized she couldn't endure this any longer. The humiliation was beyond what any professional should have to bear. But Simone knew that she had to hold her composure. She couldn't lose herself in this moment, not yet. After all, there were still other eyes watching. Executives from the Hawthorne family's various businesses were present, observing every move, every word. This wasn't a private matter, it was a public spectacle. Simone knew that the way she handled this moment would define her future. Would she be remembered as the woman who endured, or the one who walked away with her dignity intact? As the meeting stretched on, Simone's thoughts began to race faster than ever before. The $850 million deal was within her grasp, and it could potentially change everything for her company. She had worked tirelessly, sacrificing personal time, comfort, and energy to get to this point. It wasn't just about the money, it was about proving to the world, and to herself, that a black woman could reach the top in a world that often seemed stacked against her. This deal wasn't just an opportunity, it was a declaration of her worth and capability. But as the meeting progressed, Simone began to ask herself, at what cost? The Hawthornes had belittled her, questioned her credentials, and undermined her every move. The constant stream of microaggressions and outright disrespect made her wonder if the price of success was her dignity. Was she willing to trade her self-respect for the promise of wealth? Could she compromise who she was for the chance to prove she belonged? In that moment of clarity, Simone realized something crucial. No amount of money could ever replace her sense of self. The idea of being continually dismissed and degraded, no matter how high the stakes, was simply too much. She wasn't just representing her company in that room, she was representing every woman, every person of color who had ever been overlooked or underestimated in the corporate world, and she knew that she couldn't let that go on. With a calm but firm resolve, Simone looked Richard Hawthorne in the eye and made a decision that would reshape the course of her career. She stood up, gathered her papers, and with a controlled yet powerful voice she declared, "I'm sorry, but this partnership isn't going to work. I'll be canceling the deal." Richard's face flushed with frustration as he tried to salvage the situation, his voice rising in anger. But Simone was unwavering. She responded, "I don't need your approval to succeed. I've built this company with my own hands, and I'll continue to grow it on my own terms. You've made it clear that you don't respect me, and I won't do business with people who don't respect me." The room fell into an uncomfortable silence. Simone's words hung in the air, charged with an unspoken power. She knew that this was more than just about walking away from a multi-million-dollar deal. It was about reclaiming her worth and showing the world that no amount of success could ever be worth sacrificing who you are. Simone's decision to walk away from the $850 million deal left the room in stunned silence. The Hawthorne family, who had expected her to jump at the chance to close the deal, were caught completely off guard. For them, this was more than just a missed opportunity. It was a challenge to the status quo, a disruption in the way business was traditionally done. They had assumed that the law of such a lucrative deal would make Simone compliant, eager to prove her worth. But Simone's actions made it clear that she would not be anyone's token CEO or be valued solely for her business potential. She wasn't just walking away from a multi-million-dollar opportunity, she was walking away from the toxic culture of corporate elitism that often thrived behind closed doors in boardrooms like theirs. Her bold move reverberated throughout the business world, sparking debate on the power dynamics in corporate spaces. In the days that followed, news of Simone's defiance spread quickly. On one side, many applauded her for standing her ground, for refusing to let anyone diminish her worth. They praised her for maintaining her integrity in the face of blatant disrespect, seeing her walk away not as a loss, but as a victory for self-respect and dignity. On the other side, there were critics who questioned her decision to turn down a deal that could have set her up for life, calling it reckless and foolish. They argued that her personal pride had cost her a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But Simone didn't waver. She had made her decision, and she knew it was the right one. Her company continued to grow and thrive, with new opportunities and partnerships that aligned with her values. More importantly, Simone had gained something far more valuable than money: respect. She had shown the world that a black woman could lead, could stand up for herself, and could redefine what success looked like on her own terms. Her story became an inspiration, especially to women and people of color in business, proving that sometimes the most powerful move you can make is walking away from disrespect and holding on to your integrity. Simone's bold decision to walk away from the $850 million deal marked a defining moment in her career, a pivotal point that not only shaped her future but also sent a powerful message to the business world. It was a statement to everyone, from industry leaders to aspiring entrepreneurs, that no matter how high the stakes or how large the financial reward, her dignity and self-worth would always come first. She refused to be reduced to a mere player in a game where her identity, her achievements, and her worth were questioned. In that moment, Simone didn't just choose to walk away from a deal, she chose to walk away from the toxic culture of exploitation and disrespect that many high-stakes business dealings often perpetuate. For the Hawthornes, who had thought they could control the situation with their wealth and influence, the outcome was a sobering lesson. Their attempt to undermine Simone backfired, leaving them with no one to blame but themselves. As the weeks passed, the reality of their actions sank in. They had missed an opportunity to work with someone who was not only capable, but also unwilling to compromise on her values. They were left to reflect on their behavior while Simone moved forward with renewed strength and clarity. Simone's decision proved to be more than just a loss of a deal, it was the beginning of a new chapter in her career. She went on to secure other business opportunities that aligned with her values and vision, partnerships that respected her for who she was, not just what she could bring to the table financially. Her legacy wasn't built on the millions she could have made, it was built on her courage to stand firm in her convictions. Simone's story became a symbol of empowerment, especially for women and people of color in business. She proved that success isn't solely measured by financial gain, but by the integrity you maintain when navigating a world that often tries to strip it away. Her story was a reminder that sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to walk away from situations that don't honor who you are. Simone's legacy was now one of respect, resilience, and the unshakable belief that standing up for what's right is always worth it. Was Simone's bold move inspiring? Hit that like button and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more empowering stories. Drop a comment below, what would you have done? And turn on notifications so you never miss a powerful moment. See you in the next one.